Hello and welcome back to TNI-UK Impacted episode 225, coming to you live via the Total Non-Stop Impact Network on YouTube and Twitch. And if you listen on the go, then we're also available on SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, or wherever you listen to your favourite shows. I am, of course, your host, Bison, and today I'm joined by the man simply coming to us from the void of his own mind, of course. And of course, he's now in front of a brick wall, but we can actually physically see him this week.
Yeah.
And of course, that is the Joker. Hello, buddy.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. I can see Mir's in the house. He's been waiting.
Yeah.
Apparently, I owe him a favor. I guess we'll find out what that is at some point. But how have you been, bud?
I've been pretty good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm not bad. We've been promised Craig's going to join us this week, so we just want to. Oh, here he is! Talk of the draw. He's arrived. He's arrived with his TNA hat on as well. Did you get that sorted, by the way?
Yeah, mate. Because the other one had like all really terrible stitching at the top. This is the one that they sent to replace it.
Wow. So did that come from the same place, or was there any apology?
Absolutely,
any reason?
yeah. So bit of inside intel is that hat that I complained about was the last and final one. They removed the batch that was made at that time, and you can only get ones with TNA Wrestling on now. You won't get Total Non-Stop Action at the top.
Okay.
There was no like extras or anything like that. It was just basically a replacement, which I'm more than happy with because there was no extra charge on postage, and I didn't have to return the old one. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah.
But yeah, like that's pretty high quality. I've got a lot of hats, as you may have noticed, but like this is definitely easily in one of the top 3 best made ones. So
really? Is it that good?
Yeah, I'd say like that blip that I've got, that old hat, which is probably a one and done. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if anyone else out there bought one and was just kind of like, oh, this is a bit shoddy, but I had the balls to complain about it and get a better one. But I might keep hold of that other one because that's going to be quite rare in the future.
Yeah, it might be. To be fair though, I mean, was it just the writing that was bad?
Yeah, mate. It was like the stitching, like the hat itself was absolutely fine.
Out. Just pull the actual,
Yeah, but why would you pay for something where you've got to like start being a seamstress on it?
No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that if you could, I might actually buy it off you.
I mean, you can, but I don't think I will sell it because I might sacrifice it and wear it to work. Because there's every single time I pull up to certain clients and stuff like that, they're all AEW, WWE fans and stuff like that. So, oh, you still watching TNA? And I'm like, we're babysitting your talent, yes.
we're the ones that make your talent look good, and then they come to you, and then all of a sudden they're treated bad. Anyway. They're shelved, they're putting catering or putting really shit storylines. But anyway, how have you been, my friend? Because it's been what?
3 weeks, 2 weeks at least.
It's longer than that. What are you talking about? It's been about 6.
Oh yeah, if you include Christmas, yeah. God, it's been ages, hasn't it?
It has been a while. Yeah, I've been better. I'm back to normal now. I've got an MRI scan next Friday and stuff. But yeah, been a bit of a poorly boy, but yeah, I'm back and I'm fighting fit, and a few things behind the scenes and stuff like that in the personal life. Was a bit challenging and stuff like that. It turns out I don't really like people.
Yeah, I'm not keen on Sun. I'm not.
Gonna see if I can move into a zoo or something. Just take some chosen friends and family with me. Do you know what I mean? Just we don't do people. People are a bit weird.
They're a bit weird.
But nah, all in all, mate, it's. I'm glad to be back. I've been catching up with TNA and stuff like that. I haven't been watching it as soon as I can. Like there was one show where like you guys had done 2 reviews and I was 2 weeks behind. Do you know what I mean? So even if I jumped on, I wouldn't have been able to do it. But I even missed. Was it Sacrifice?
Oh,
Sacrifice took me a while to watch.
Good
that was a good show.
It was decent. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I was going to jump in and say, like, I was going to give it a solid 8 because I was cringing hard. Like, if you're going to ride a horse to the ring,
Yeah.
Elijah, make sure it's under the spotlight that we've given you, especially not like over there. Put it under the spotlight.
Yeah.
You want WWE sort of content. You've got to have WWE sort of quality. Do you know what I mean? And then
that was one of the silly things.
mate, Santana's car door. Like, mate. Come on, like you had to have someone open it up.
But they should have. I think when he come in, rather than him sticking his hand out trying to open the door, they should have had someone open it for him. Like,
well, you could see him trying the inside.
Yeah,
it was busted. So it's just like, oh man, just bounce it around so he falls out the window.
Yeah, that would.
It was a great touch, like a great nod to Eddie Guerrero and the Guerrero family. It was nice and stuff like that, especially with that frog splash that he done in the match as well. It's class.
Yeah, they should have got a convertible one, shouldn't they?
Yeah,
he could have just literally stood up and then jumped over.
Dukes of Hazzard it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that would have been better. Or slid out the window. That would have been cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was cool though that they're starting to do stuff like that. Like you say with the horse. It's a special, so they're trying to introduce a few special things that you wouldn't normally see on a standard.
I mean, like with Elijah, like on the most recent show and stuff like that, I've noticed little tiny tweaks and stuff like that with like an entrance. Whereas before you had 2 cameramen, you had one watch them come out. They might interact with the camera or something like that, or they go around the ring, tap their hands, then they get in, then you have the other camera in the ring. It's almost like they've brought back that adjustable camera. You'll know the one I mean when I say Scott Steiner's entrance and Bobby Roode's entrance. Where it goes around the top of them and stuff like that. Yeah. That seems to be back. I've noticed that one. And just the production quality of it. So like when Elijah gets in the ring, he holds the guitar up and then goes towards it. And the camera pans past him and looks at Elijah on the screen. Little things like that. They don't realise how much that means to a wrestling fan to see, oh my God, they care about what they're showing us. This isn't just bog standard 5 guys with cameras just walking around a ring.
They're thinking about it now. They're looking at how they bring people in. I mean, I like when they were doing. I mean, I know you don't like him, your guy, he's gone. But like when they first started doing the PCO stuff in black and white.
Yeah.
That was cool. When they did.
Oh, it was cool the first time. The 20th time in a consecutive week was boring as hell.
And when they used to bring in Lady Frost, when they had all that sort of stuff, that's what they should do. They should do that for loads of different talents, like all the time. Yeah. It's great. Those sort of things just make things feel a little bit special. Yeah, that's for sure. But it's good to see. Well, Mir's with us anyway. I don't think anyone else will. If you're with us, let us know. Drop us a comment. Let us know you're here. Say hello. We'd love to hear from you. I don't know whether the chat's working properly or whether the only person here is Mir. I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe the clocks have gone forward. People haven't caught up properly yet. They'll probably start jumping in about 7 o'clock when we're wrapping up.
Well, Mir says that you owe him a favour, so Mir, let us know.
What is that favour? I think there's obviously a bit of an issue with the chat.
Keep it clean.
Let me have a little gander. I'm going to go on the tube. Quickly and just see whether there's stuff on there, because it might be that it's just not coming up. Oh, here you go. Here. Next Bike 1 is here. You got. Maybe we need a roll call. Can we have a roll call?
Yeah.
Here, sir. Present. That sort of thing.
Hello.
That would be really cool. So we can just see how many people are actually with us today. I know obviously you can see a few people there, but it's nice to see to see that one. And really,
oh no, the numbers have started going up now.
All of a sudden.
Yeah.
How weird is that?
Oh,
that's really weird, but at least it's working out now. So I'm just trying to have a look in the live chat myself to see if there's anything in there. So yeah, Mir, I'm still waiting to find out what this favour is. He's not saying anything.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe there is a slight issue.
Maybe it's a huge favour. It's going to be 8 paragraphs.
Yeah,
it could be. Maybe.
I bet it's something to do with the Beatles.
You reckon?
Every week.
The Beatles. Got to be something to do with the Beatles. Okay, no worries. Right, lads. Should we get snap bang into the news rumors and, of course, the impact recap of the week? Hey, Jeremy. Nice to see you.
Hello.
There we go. Nice. Jeremy Bentley's with us. Okay, so new episode of Joe Hendry's Food Fight on TNA Plus. Not watched it. Not going to give a review, but we seem to be getting them regularly again, which is great. June TNA events against all odds and Impact taping 7th and 8th of June at the Mullet, which I thought was interesting. The Mullet Arena, Tempe, Arizona, which I believe is Phoenix. Am I right?
Yeah, it's yeah.
Okay.
I sent you the message while they both had to confirm it.
But good to see that we've got June stuff being set up now. So
It just says it's at Arizona. I didn't say it was at Phoenix or anything like that. So
What's up, Somerset?
I think it was Mullet Arena, Temp, Arizona. I think Temp might be the actual place in Arizona. I'm not sure.
Yeah, Temp. Yeah, I think it is. Temp is from. I think it might be a suburb of Phoenix or something.
Yeah,
it's like Tulsa. Tulsa's in Arizona, isn't it?
That's right. Yeah.
The only reason I know that is because of What We Do in the Dark, that series with what's he called? I'm going to forget his name. I'm completely sidetracking here, but it's that Matt. I can't remember what his last name is. But he's like that really, really stern English voice. But he's like, this is how we speak in Tulsa, Arizona.
Arizona.
Yeah, it's absolutely brilliant. It's like it's about vampires that have like lived for thousands and thousands of years, and they're trying to live in the modern day world. It's worth a watch if you see it. It's very rude, very crude, and just all out hilarious.
Okay.
That's what we like.
Yes.
Can you bring us Somerset's front? Oh, okay. So the bullet we used at the front and party around the back. I couldn't see it. I was like, oh yeah. Of course it is. Of course.
Serious at the front, party around the back.
I get it. I get what you're saying. And of course, we've also got the Impact tapings on the 20th and the 21st of June at the UPMC Event Center in Pittsburgh. Of course, this would be the lead into Slammiversary tapings.
Yeah.
So they're going to be. So we're going from Phoenix, which is again, I don't think they've been there before. Phoenix,
not for a while.
Not for a while, anyway.
Not for a very long time, no.
And then they're going to head over to Pittsburgh, like I say, which then leads into what's this? What We Do in the Shadows.
That's it. Sorry, yeah, I got the name wrong. Thank you.
There
Norris.
you go. What We Do in the Shadows. I'm going to check that out now, Norris.
It's on BBC.
Anyway, Norris,
Three
thanks
for us.
joining us. Thanks for joining us, buddy. Okay, don't forget, we need a roll call, guys. If you join now, you need to say hello.
Yeah.
You have to put your hand up and say, hey, how's it going? You know what I mean? We need to know. We need to see you guys. You know, and I'm still waiting to find out what this favour is, Mir. Nothing. Absolute nothing. It's like silence.
Oh, well.
You know, he's only going to get so long, and then I'll just say, stick your favour up your ass, mate. So we'll have to see, won't we? We'll have to see what's going on. Anyway, Unbreakable, looking to be based around the new international title with the three-way matches set for Edwards versus Ace versus Macklin. We've also got Wentz versus JDC versus EY. And, of course, this Thursday, we're going to have AJ Francis versus Mance versus Sami. But what will come out? What will also come out this Thursday? What do we think? What do we think we're going to get? Have we got any ideas after watching some of the stuff recently? Have we got any ideas of what matches we might see at Unbreakable next week? They all seem to be multi-man matches.
At the moment, I think we're going to see Sami Callihan versus Mance Warner at Unbreakable. AJ Francis is going to be winning this match and going through to the final of the tournament.
You think?
Ooh.
Yeah. So
that's a good shout, because I personally, just throwing it out there, I think Mance is going to win, and Mance is going to go all the way and become the first champion.
Yeah, I'm thinking that as well.
I do like Joe's angle. I think Joe's angle would probably work better.
The way Sami went up to Santino and demanded that he swap places with Ace Austin or whoever was going to be originally against Mance Warner and AJ Francis. I thought that was brilliant. He literally threatened Santino to put him in this match, or he's going to knock him out.
Yeah,
that's true. It's interesting. I think you're right there. I don't know. I think what will probably end up happening is Mance and Sami get into it outside the ring and get counted out or something, and AJ will win.
Yeah,
and then that will then lead to some sort of kind of Full Metal Mayhem at Unbreakable or something. Some kind of like, I don't know, get him in a cage. That's what I say. Get them in a cage. Don't let them out until one of them's dead. There you go.
That's what Sami would want too. You're reading Sami's mind.
I know. I'm all over that shit. I'm all over that shit. But yeah, that's going to be incredible. I still think that's going to go to the Sami and Mance are going to go right to Rebellion. The Rebellion is when we're going to get the big one.
Yeah.
That's going to be like, that could be your fucking barbed wire massacre or something. I don't know. What do you think?
I'd love a barbed
Definitely.
wire massacre again. To be fair, I would love it. But like the thing is like I know a lot of people pointed it out. We had the hardcore match between Sami and Mance with no blood whatsoever,
Yeah.
which was a bit weird. So are we demanding a bit of claret now? Like, you know, the barbed wire massacre thing is like, you know, I've watched Mance Warner since probably about 2016. And the stuff that he's got in his like, you know, in his arsenal, not his arse, in his arsenal is like pretty good. He might have it in his arse, I don't know. I can't clarify. Never seen it. But like, you know, the stuff that he gets up to and what he can do is pretty gruesome, let's say. And I think the thing is dare I say it, with Mance Warner, if we're gonna have him as a wrestler with a few extreme moves, brilliant. If we're going to go down this hardcore route, like we've just said, the barbed wire massacre and stuff like that, and we're like kind of snooping around for a TV deal, would that kind of jeopardize it? Do you know what I mean? It's who's going to put that on screen and stuff like that, or is it going to be exclusively pay-per-view and stuff like that? So it's a weird one. Like I was really happy when we signed Mance, by all means, but at the same time, I'm like, how are we going to use him, and how are we going to use him to his best attributes, not to what we want him for? Do you know what I mean?
Well, I think that's what they brought Mance in for, though. To be fair, he's almost like a young replacement for PCO, isn't he? That kind of, and Sami. To be fair, I mean, both of those guys are what you would class as our sort of kind of hardcore guys. Sami's now obviously, you know, coming to the end of his wrestling in-ring career. I think he's winding down a little bit, and I'm not saying we won't see him like in the future. I'm just saying I'm sure that he's
really pushing Revolver at the moment.
Well, I just mean I think he's winding down his in-ring stuff. You know what I mean? He's, you know, yes, he wants to get in there, but I don't think he's going to want to be on the TV every week kind of thing. He's winding down a little bit. I think he's focusing on like doing stuff backstage, because from what I can gather, he is involved in a lot of stuff backstage at TNA now. So, you know, I think he's kind of almost going into that role. You've got Mance coming in, who is you know, relatively young compared to obviously PCO. I mean, everyone's young compared to PCO, and obviously Sami is older as well. So I think that you know, maybe that's what they're doing. They're sort of kind of bringing him in. They're using Sami to really bolster Mance and make him look like a beast, and he's almost going to be their replacement. You know, he's like TNA's Hardcore Holly, I think.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I think.
I mean, like this rivalry that they've got. Like, I hope Sami doesn't wrap it up too soon, because like those two can go, and those two, like, you know, that you look at how that crossover went at the start of that pay-per-view. We went from the pre-show into the main show, and that's how we started it off.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's like,
yeah, that was great. That was clever, because what they were trying to do there was saying, right, if you want to see the rest of this match, you've got to go and buy the pay-per-view. That's what they were doing there, and that's why that worked so
but
well.
it's like those two guys, like, you know full well that Sami is like just a crowd general. You know, he gets the crowd behind him, or he winds them up and reacts with them and stuff like that. Mance is the same. And I think, like, with this platform now, like, I could just make this whole show about Mance Warner. He's finally got a platform where the fans will appreciate him.
I think so. Yeah,
he was good in MLW. He was, but MLW's MLW. You know, where TNA is a little bit different. Where we've kind of got like, you do get people kind of, they have the fantasy of what a wrestler's like, rather than just like, oh, we're watching wrestling. It's kind of like, oh my god, this guy is. But you know,
Yeah, I get that. I get what you're saying. Definitely, 100%. I think that you know, I think that's what they're doing, mate. I think they're building Mance. I think they're using what they have to really build Mance up. And like I said, I'm pretty sure he's gonna be like the hardcore king of of TNA for the next 12, 18 months or whatever, or 2 years, however long he's going to be there. And I honestly don't believe it's going to be very long before Steph DeLander puts pen to paper either. So, because she loves TNA, I think she's very happy at TNA. So, she promotes it constantly. She, she might have had her say when it comes to Gail Kim, but who doesn't? They're friends. It might have been one of the reasons she came in. I don't know, but at the end of the day, she loves TNA and she's the true knockout. So I'm looking forward to seeing where that goes with her as well. But no, mate, sorry, I'm not really an avid WWE watch. I've started to watch NXT a bit now, but I've got no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, don't know how many times every week we have to say that we don't watch Raw and SmackDown.
Very rarely. I might watch some highlights.
I'll tell you what, the bit that gets me about Raw and SmackDown, right, is the only clip that I saw that went viral was a chat between two women. That's the only clip that I've seen viral. I'm like, it's never about a match. It's never like, oh my god, did you see this amazing move, or this amazing choreography and the way that they done this? No, you had some woman have a go at Charlotte Flair and have a little pop about her boyfriend being in her DMs or something, and then that's gone viral. And I'm just like, did they fight? Was there chairs? Was there what's going on? And that's the only thing that pops from it. So I'm like, I'm not really into a wrestling show where the gossip wins the news. Do you know what I mean?
And you see all the highlights from NXT coming up, and they're showing some of the fucking incredible stuff there.
Exactly, and it's like, when going back to the sacrifice and stuff like that, I had people say to me, "Oh my god, you watch TNA, don't you?" Yeah. Did you see when that guy had his tongue stapled to the turnbuckle?
Yeah.
Yes, I did. And then people are like, "Oh my god, did you hear the chat between the two women?"
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow, that's so amazing. Yeah,
it was the best thing ever. I know what you're saying, but that's why we're TNA fans and they are WWE fans, because they like chat and we like wrestling. So there, and that's probably why we like NXT as well, because I hadn't until recently, until this sort of kind of like there was a bits and bobs going on with TNA, I wasn't really watching that much NXT either, and I didn't realize how good it actually was. And actually, NXT, although it doesn't quite have the production value of Raw, SmackDown, and all that kind of stuff, it's got great production value. It's good. The storylines are good. The in-ring action is really good. And I don't think people realized, that their viewership should be way. For me, NXT is a way better product than AEW. I'm telling you that.
100%.
It's been shitting on AEW for ages.
Way better. You can see why it gets the vote.
But it's I was into NXT when they had the feud between Ciampa and Gargano. I've mentioned it on this show before, but obviously those guys have been signed up. I believe they're on SmackDown now. Yeah, but Ciampa, it's like seeing them two go at it. It was just an amazing storyline, and the bit that got me, I was just like, it's going to be wasted because it's on NXT. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I hope that they kind of rig rivalry on SmackDown or something like that, because both those guys can go, and it was a fantastic storyline. They're both fantastic wrestlers and personas, But it's just like things like that where, recently we had Fraxium on TNA. Oh my god! Talk about amazing. And I didn't really know much about them, and then all of a sudden I'm like, boom.
They actually are they got to be up there with one of the best tag teams in the world right now.
They're incredible. Yeah.
They're amazing.
That's amazing.
And they're not even on the main shows.
No.
You know what I mean? Come on. But anyway, and this is the thing. This is where I don't know. I think NXT is really kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Because it isn't Raw, because it's not SmackDown, it's still not being taken 100% seriously.
Yeah.
And it really should be, because it's a bloody good show. It's a really good show. I like it a lot. And I think, for me, TNA and NXT are they're the perfect sort of kind of alignments, really, because they kind of are very, very similar in their approach, in the way that they focus on the actual in-ring action. You get more matches on a TNA show or NXT show in their hour and 30-minute. Well, it's 2 hours in it when you add all the ad, but you know what I mean. In their hour and 40 minutes worth of actual action, right? Then you get on a SmackDown and Raw put together.
Yeah.
And I'm not there for all the shit. I'm there for the fucking matches. I'm there for the matches. Yes, I want a storyline, but I don't want all of that crap dominating the entire show. I don't want an hour of story, an hour of backstage segments and vignettes and 35 minutes of wrestling. I'd rather have 35 minutes of the vignettes and the storytelling, right? And 45 minutes to 50 minutes or an hour of wrestling. Because that's what I want to watch. I want to watch the wrestling. So, that's what I think NXT's like that, as is TNA. That's what we're like. Yes, we might have the odd weekly show where it's a little bit more story driven, like backstage segment driven. So you might end up with 4, maybe 5 matches instead of the 6 that you sort of quite often get, or you might get 3 or 4 as opposed to 4 or 5 or whatever. But the bottom line is, you still get more actual wrestling than you do on Raw and SmackDown, and that's the bit that gets me. I want to watch wrestling, so I watch wrestling shows. Simple as that. But here's something I want to tell you guys. Lei Ying Ling, or Ying Li, I'm a big fan. Big fan of this lady. Has been posting some great pictures and videos of her training and her body toning, and she is non-stop focused, shall we say. She's looking fantastic, mate. She is proper, like, compared to where she was, say, before Christmas when they originally announced that she was signed, to where she is now physically.
I've seen quite a few of them.
Transformation. She's clearly putting in the work. She clearly wants to be a top talent in TNA right now. Have you seen them, Craig? Because she looks incredible.
Nah, I've got to be honest. I know you're a fan. I'm not so much. I didn't really go much on her last match and stuff like that. I won't lie. If she's improving, then cool. But I feel like she's got a lot to prove.
I thought she was fantastic against Blanchard. That was a brilliant match. What about you, Joe? What are your thoughts on her?
I've been really impressed with her since day one. I was so pleased to see that she was given a chance to come to TNA, and she's taken it by the horns and really, really excelled.
She certainly has now. I think when they first signed her, like I said, I don't know whether she had prior commitments. She was unable to sort of kind of like commit to all of the sets of tapings and stuff, so they weren't really pushing her. They were just sort of kind of giving her, like, I think she had like 2 or 3 matches. They were very just matches, random matches, really. There was no story. It was just, let's get her in the ring. Let's see what she could do, or let's show the people what she can do. I think her look is incredible, like the way she comes out with the whole rice hat on and the whole kind of like traditional look, Chinese traditional look, looks fantastic. I think her whole persona is really good. I love the way she screams and shit in the ring. I love all of that stuff, and her moveset is based around kind of like martial arts as well. So again, you're getting that kind of little bit. She's almost like a female version of Mike Bailey, I guess.
Yeah, I can see that.
You know what I mean? But she is. I just think the whole. Now that they're running her almost every week now. She's kind of in a story. She's in with the top people, and I love the way that they got Blanchard treating her like she was a mid-carder type nobody backstage, and then she gets in the ring with her, and like it was she didn't beat her easily. You know what I mean? Like, it was a tough match, and she proved her worth, which was fantastic. But that's why I don't know. I just think that there's certain talents that sometimes they might take a little while for you to really get into them. But you have to make sure that you present them right, because at the end of the day, if they're not presenting her in the right way, then you're not going to take to her. I just know I've seen so much of her before that I know how good she is. So that's why I'm really excited that she's with TNA, because I know that once she gets going, once she gets the pushes that she needs to get, you will see that she is in an incredible talent. Incredible. And does things that other talents and other knockouts don't do. And that's again what we've talked about in the past when it comes to the TNA knockouts. Every single one of them brings something to the table that's slightly different to everybody else. And there's no one knockout that you can go, well, that's just another version of so and so. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, she's very unique in her way. I just mean like these last like 2 matches. I'm just like the spots they're not tight. They're a bit sloppy and stuff like that. I'm just like like, and there was like that bit of a. Well, I am going to call it a botch where she went to do something. She tried to do like a suplex and it just ended up rolling around the ring. I'm like, do you know where you are? Do you know what I mean? Do you know the eyes that are on you? You know, this is like live TV. This is TNA. Like you can't if you can't lift someone, then don't try to. You know, in front of a live audience while it's being filmed for TV tapings and stuff like that. Probably not your best idea, but what would I know? She can do something that I can't. So yeah, I wouldn't have tried to lift them.
Yeah, I get that. I get what you're saying. But there you go. Like, Mike's saying there, like every male wrestler had their best match, Josh Alexander. The females will have their best.
Yeah.
They're two guys who would really bring out the best in everybody.
Yeah. I mean, again, though, you say that, but I mean, I think, Slamovich in that match against that, I forgot what her name was now, whoever it was.
Cora Jade.
Was it her? Like she was struggling. Masha was struggling.
Yeah.
To make that match look good.
Yeah.
Like, we know how good Masha is.
Yeah.
She goes. Most people she goes in the ring with. She looks great. She goes in the ring with a talent like Jordan Grace. She has 3 like unbelievable matches with Jordan Grace. She's gonna have unbelievable matches with Tessa Blanchard moving on. She'll have amazing matches with whoever she goes in against. But man, she struggled with that Cora Jade to really try and get that match looking good and getting that match going. Sometimes it doesn't matter how good you are. If your opponent sucks, your opponent sucks.
No, I think it was more about. I think they both didn't want to go full pelt at each other in case one of them got injured because they are both working for different companies. So that's like the big fine line. You know, when Jordan Grayson and Masha Slamovich went 1-on-1, they said to each other, "I'll beat the shit out of you if you beat the shit out of me." And then Jordan Grayson said, said that's how she wants her matches to go. If you're going to step in the ring with me, I want you to beat the crap out of me because I'm going to beat the crap out of you.
Yeah.
And that's what Masha and Jordan did. Tessa Blanchard's got the same attitude. So I can see that they're going to set the house on fire at Rebellion.
100%. Now, I'm not sure. Are you talking about Lee or are you talking about...
I'm talking about...
no, sorry, it's Slammer. He said that she looked great against Tessa. I'm just trying to figure out if he's talking about Slamovich or he's talking about Lee. I think he's talking about Lee. And I agree. I thought she did. I thought she looked fantastic. Whether she botched a move, I don't know, but she looked fantastic.
I reckon he's on about Mae Young.
You reckon? He might be.
Yeah.
Could be.
Hell of a match.
Hell of a match, Mae Young. Brought her out the ground. She had a casket match.
Oh, that's a bit low. Oh.
6 feet low.
6 feet under a match. So ticket sales for Under Siege in Brampton are looking great, with the majority of the more expensive floor seats almost sold out now. No record of obviously the GA sales, but apparently the place holds about 3K. So I would imagine that you've got at least probably 2 and a bit K in the GAs, and then I think there was about 900 on the floor or something like that. So, but most of those have gone. So it just goes to show that the ticket sales are going really, really well right now. Really well for TNA. It doesn't matter where they go. They seem to be pulling the selling the tickets.
Howdy, J-Bone.
Hello, boss.
Howdy, J-Bone. Yeah.
The boss is in the house.
Evening, boss.
He's coming in to check us out, making sure that we're doing his due diligence. That's what he's doing right now, making sure that we are representing the brand. But anyway, it was also released, I think, in the last couple of days as well. The Anthem have sold Gravitas Ventures. Now, this is interesting because could they potentially be releasing money for something else? Ooh. Who knows? Could they? I don't know. And it was released via wrestling outlets. So I'm thinking to myself, are they trying to, Are they possibly thinking that they need to invest a bit more money into Impact, possibly into TNA?
I reckon they're signing Johnny Swinger.
Do you reckon? I mean, that's gonna be big money. That's gonna be big money.
$50.
I mean, they're gonna need to really roll up the Brinks Mac truck.
Yeah, we need Swinger's dungeon back.
Well, it's because they need to find a working fax machine to get the message to them.
Yeah,
that's what it is. They'd have to pay serious money these days for a vintage one.
they can get a homing pigeon, surely.
Anyway, I think that I don't know. Could they be doing that, or is it just that they built it to a point where they can get good money for it, or what? I don't know. But anyway, that was popped out there by a few of the wrestling news outlets, so I thought I'd mention it. The Rebellion card so far, we've got the Ultimate X for the X Division title. We've got Moose versus obviously Leon Slater. We've got Matt Cardona, and we've got Vikingo, as we found out this past week on Impact. Viking is back. He's going to be taking part in this one.
So pleased to see Matt Cardona again.
I think they're seriously looking at Vikingo. I think there's something going down there. They've just been waiting for him to sort of kind of like get himself back together again. I don't know. They've been trying to take a look at him for a while. Proper. Yeah. And he's still a free agent, as far as I'm aware. He hasn't been signed anywhere. He's a free agent right now. He's turned up on AEW a little bit, but he's not signed. So, and he's not signed with AAA or anybody in Mexico either. So I don't know. I think they're taking a serious look at him.
I hope so, because the fact that they didn't sign Dyrese is still bugging me. So if they can,
but they haven't yet.
Yeah, if they can get Vikingo, get him now before he does go to AEW or goes back to AAA, because if they let him go, then that's a huge missed opportunity right there and then, and that's really not going to look good.
The thing is, I kind of agree with you, Joe, but at the same time, I think that Vikingo needs TNA more than TNA needs Vikingo, because I'd say that in the same respect as, I'm going to bring him up again, Mance Warner. I really do think that when you've got a talent like that and you've seen all the things they can do, putting them in TNA and with the creative control that we let them have, if Vikingo's going to come to us, then he best bring a good idea and stuff like that and tell us what he wants to do. I know he's going to want belts and stuff like that, but if he can turn up and say, like, right, I really want X, Y, and Z, then we would have a star on our hands. Do you know what I mean? But he has been in various other places, so he has got his fan network and stuff like that. But he
has.
I would love to see how he does in this match, because the Ultimate X, my God, it is just amazing, isn't it?
Well, there you go. I mean, look at that. Smash's podcast didn't know that. He's definitely
he's definitely still a free agent. Wow, I did think he's signed elsewhere again, but
no, he hasn't. There was a rumor that he was signed to AEW because he suddenly turned up AEW, had a few matches there, and then all of a sudden, he's signed. And
people do that all the time. The Matt Cardona's done that at least 3 times, and
he's not signed. I believe as well that Conan is his agent.
Yes.
So I don't know. There you go.
Yeah. Conan's got.
I believe a certain Josh Alexander's turning up on AEW apparently.
Well, we'll see.
So, but I'm just
in catering. He'll end up in catering because they won't know what to do.
I just don't understand why you would base your persona and stuff like that on someone like Kurt Angle and not go to the company where Kurt Angle is or where he's beloved.
Because they didn't offer the money. He's gone where he's been offered the most money, hasn't he? At the end of the day, he's got a family. You know what I mean?
Fair enough.
He's going to go where he's being offered the most money for the longest length of time, isn't
he? Yeah, true.
And I'm sure he was offered a lot of money. But again, for me, he'll probably, I don't know, say he's picked up a 3-year contract, for instance. He'll probably earn a good wage for 3 years, but he will hardly be seen and his value will drop. So when he gets his next contract, it won't be worth as much. At the moment, you've seen what he's doing. He's just letting them run out. He's just letting the contracts run out, and that's it. And it's not on, in my opinion. It's not on, but there you go. Okay. We've also got the tag titles match between the Hardys and the Nemesis. We're going to have that. Yes. And we've got the KO title
wonderful.
Match. It will be wonderful. We've also got the KO title match between Masha and Tessa. And then we've also now found out that we're going to have Joe Hendry versus Ethan Page versus Frankie Kazarian for the world title as the main event. Well, it's a double main event apparently. Slamovich versus Blanchard and
Yeah, absolutely.
Hendry Page Kazarian match is the double main.
You okay, Joe?
Yeah, I'm getting love from Sami.
He's getting done.
Yeah.
Sammy slipping in the tongue. That's what
Yeah.
he's going on there.
No, he's a good boy.
Blimey, look at the size of it. Look at the size of that thing. It's bigger than your head.
I know.
Anyway,
Susie down there too.
yeah, meow's in the house.
Hey.
Meow.
Nice to see it. Nice. To see what's Smash saying there? Oh, look at that! We're Vikingo. We're getting some love from the boss, which is nice.
Yeah.
What's he saying there? He's saying the TNA against all odds venue is fine as fudge.
Yeah.
I think that means fine as fudge.
I love fudge.
I love fudge. Do you know, I was down the pier today with the kids, and I almost bought a big old lump of fudge. I do like
Do it.
Yeah, so looking good for Rebellion. Rebellion is looking good too. So lovely stuff being pointed out there. Now let's get to the recap from the show from Impact last week. Let's sort of kind of catch up on what's going down, get ourselves set and ready to hit Impact tomorrow night. So here we go. So we got the TNA World Champion Joe Hendry joined Tom Hannafan, Matthew Raywell on commentary for the opening contest. We had Elijah versus, of course, the Call Your Shot Gauntlet winner Frankie Kazarian.
Hail to the king.
Hail to the king. Hendry was confronted by Kazarian at ringside as Kazarian shoved Hendry into Elijah back in the ring. Kazarian rolled in to help, rolled up Elijah to get the win. Now, after the match, Hendry retaliated with an assault on Kazarian. Security couldn't break it up, but Elijah pulled Hendry off Kazarian. Now, I didn't like this. I really didn't like the way that they've done all this at the start of the show, and I'm very rarely do I have I normally I quite like the way they open shows, but I don't know. I wasn't feeling this at all, and I don't know why. I just wasn't feeling it. Maybe it's because I am, as much as I like Frankie Kazarian, I just don't think he has any place in the world title picture. But that's me, and I think that's where it is for me at the moment, because I don't believe that he is world title credential written on him. He hasn't. When you've got the likes of Santana, Steve Macklin, you know, all these people that aren't in the title picture right now, for me.
I can hear Frankie Kazarian shouting, "Shut up, you Mark! Shut up, you Mark!"
I don't give a fuck, mate.
I really do think
I'm a fan of Frank.
Kaz has got
Don't
it.
get me wrong.
Yeah.
Go on, what are you saying?
I do really think that Kaz, like, he deserves his flowers. He's been around and stuff like that. Even if it's a short run, just give him the damn title, man, because he has been around. He's pushed so many stars.
Yeah.
I remember the day that he came back to TNA, and, like, you know, he literally live on air just said, like, fuck that other company.
Yeah.
Didn't want anything to do with AEW anymore. We seen what he had to say in Coventry and stuff like that. That is a guy who's TNA through and through, yet he's never had the prize. So, like, you know, give him that rub, let him take that moment and stuff like that. And as the boss says, he's the king. Do you know what I mean? It's like, give the king his crown, you know, let him go on a run, let him go against the potential champions and stuff like that. Show us exactly why Kazarian has been around for so long, and then let him kind of do whatever he wants after his reign, you know. But I really do. I kind of feel sorry for him, and carrying that bloody cup around with him all this time. I'm just like, man, can we not, like, leave it on a shelf or lock it up for him or something like that? Has he got to carry it? But I suppose you have to carry it to cash it in at the time. But, you know, he says he's cashing it in. He's going to go against Ethan Page and Joe Hendry. Is this the time that Kaz wins it? Personally, I don't think he does. I would love it if he does, but it's got to happen soon. It's got to happen soon.
I don't think it's going to happen because they would be absolute idiots if they decided to put it on Frankie Kazarian. Sorry, he's not going to draw a dime, and it just doesn't make sense putting it on Frankie Kazarian.
Do you think the same of, like, do you reckon that was the same reason they didn't put it on Christopher Daniels?
Yes.
Because the thing is, like Christopher Daniels, I watched his retirement match, which was on AEW against is it Hangman? Is it Adam Page?
Adam Page, yeah,
Yeah, Hangman Adam Page or whatever. And
he's really good. I like him.
see, I don't. I think he's a
Nah.
confused cowboy / teacher, but he's just like it's just I don't get him. But at the same time, the match was just they just battered like Christopher Daniels. It wasn't
Yeah.
like a thank you or anything like that. They just wiped the floor with him. Andy lost it. Do you know what I mean? I'm just like, well, you know, it did irritate me because I thought maybe Daniels would have come back to TNA and been like a surprise because he done it a couple of years ago. I swear that was like before or during COVID. He done like a vignette and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then he just never turned up. He just never came back to
Yeah,
TNA.
that was because of COVID.
Yeah, but I'm just like, why not have your retirement match in TNA? Come back as a surprise opponent or something like that. You know,
Yeah.
do the best moonsault ever and stuff like that, and then.
The
But
thing
who
is
knows?
here. The thing is here, right? Is I'm not trying to diss Frankie Kazarian, Krista, any of those guys because they all were like they were the TNA OGs, right? They were what really set TNA apart. You know, your AJ Styles, your Frankie Kazarians, you know, your Amazing Reds, like you know, Christopher, you know, the Fallen Angel. All these guys were what set. You know, this and your Chris Sabins, of course, back in the day. You know, all these people are what set TNA apart from what else was going on. But this is 2025,
Yeah.
right? And yes, I get what you're saying. I do. I 100% get what you're saying. But it does not make any financial sense
Yeah, I
from a
understand that bit
promotion
too.
point of view
Yeah.
to put the title on Frankie Kazarian. It really doesn't. Like, you know, when you've got, like I said, when you've got people like, you know, Santana, you want to, you like, I understand what you're saying, but Frankie is not going to draw, like, Frankie Kazarian versus whoever is not going to draw people to want to come and watch TNA. Right, because they're going to go, what, that old dude from like back in the, you know, back like 30 years ago. That's what they're going to do. Now, you know, yes, he was really young back then. So, and I'm not saying he can't go, and I'm not saying he's not great in the ring, and I'm not saying that, you know, he's not great on the mic because he is. Right, he's
Yeah.
great, he's fantastic. But why do we like him? Because we know who he is,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
we've grown up with him, so we get it.
Yeah, but
right?
like he was in AEW and he was a pull in AEW. This is what I mean. It kind of like defeats your fact there where you're saying he wouldn't like earn any dollar and stuff like that. He was
wasn't a pull.
he was the what was they calling him
STU.
yeah, he was in that. But when he went on his solo run, he was like assassinating certain talents and stuff like that.
Yeah, he went
He
on
was
some.
like-
Yeah, that's right. But that wasn't necessarily drawing any money. It wasn't necessarily him that was selling tickets. He was just being featured at that time.
Yeah, but that's what I mean.
Saying,
He's good enough to feature, and like the people that he has got his own fans and stuff like that. I do think that like if anything, people who haven't the casuals and stuff like that who watch or know about TNA, if they heard that Kaz is the champion, some would go bloody hell, is he still going? Do you know what I mean? Then others would be like deservedly so. I don't think people would be against it, even if it's a short run. Just I fully feel like he deserves it.
I don't think that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve some
You
flowers.
just don't want him to have it.
I just don't feel he's going to add. I just don't feel he, from a financial point of view, from a promotion point of view, they're a business.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to put the title on someone like. Why is the title on Joe Hendry?
Oh, because he's such a huge draw.
There you go.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Why did they put the title on Nick Nemeth?
Because he's such a huge draw.
Because he's going to sell tickets, right?
Yeah.
Because people know who he is. He's going to draw people in. He'll sell tickets. Frankie Kazarian will not sell tickets. People will not buy a ticket specifically to come and watch Frankie Kazarian in the main event.
I've got to disagree, man. I've got to disagree.
Okay. Well, that's fine. That's your prerogative. and that's what this is all about, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's what it is all about.
Oh
It's
yeah, like everything, you know,
all it is.
obviously everything's all cool. It's like we're TNA fans, do you know what I mean? But this is what I love about this show is that we're not all bumming the same, bumming the same thing. We're kind of three different opinions in that. But like, I like the fact, do you know what? I actually feel a lot better because I've been able to have a chat about TNA and have differences with people who know the fuck I'm on about.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
So-
No, I think it's cool. I think we can all do. We can have our own. We can have our thoughts on it. I don't know. I just think from a business point of view, it doesn't make sense. But
Who would you
knows?
put it on? Who would you put it on instead of Hendry then?
Out of that match, or
No,
just
out of the talent, who is
At the
who is
moment,
money
I
maker?
would give it to Mike Santana if
Yeah.
he'd be the one to beat Joe Hendry at Slammiversary.
it'll either
Stick
be
on Chavo. Stick on
I
Chavo.
don't know. I don't even think. I don't. He was great. His match was great. Anyway,
It was.
I don't think that it's going to go until Bang for Glory. And I think Bang for Glory, it'll be Mike Santana.
Mike Santana and Mustafa Ali will win it.
Yeah. In fact, although I've said that, it might be that Mustafa Ali gets the title match at Slam.
Yeah.
And then we get Mustafa Ali versus Mike Santana at Bang for Glory, and that's when Mike Santana eventually gets his comeuppance by taking the world title off him. Again, this is what I'm saying. You have to build to something, don't you? Something has to be built, and they're already building this thing with Mustafa Ali and Mike Santana. It's already building now. It's boiling over. It's boiling, and who knows? This could then start coming into that title point. You've got, because they both stated they want the world title. Mustafa Ali said at the end of the day he wants to win. He wants to be the world champion. He wants to be the one to elevate TNA, blah blah blah, and all that kind of stuff. And of course, Mike Santana wants that as well. We've been building him they've been building him in that sense as well. So who knows? I mean, we've always said one thing TNA is really good at. If you watch TNA on a regular basis, if you watch it, week in, week out, year on year, you will see that they long-term storytell. So they started this at the start of the year. It could come to a conclusion at Bang for Glory at the end of the year. That's sort of kind of you know what I mean. I
think Mustafa Ali and Mike Santana is going to be the year-long story.
It's a year build, mate.
Yeah.
It's a year build to see Mustafa Ali versus Mike Santana, Bang for Glory, world title on the line. Maybe that's my thought.
Yeah.
I could be absolutely, totally off base here. But that's sort of kind of where I feel they should be heading. For me, that's what I think. I think they should be looking at getting Leon Slater as the X Division champion, the youngest ever, and it should happen. It should happen at Rebellion, in my opinion. But we'll see. We're just gonna have to see. But I think that would be amazing. You get me. Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, TNA's physician insisted that Joe Hendry go to the hospital to treat his injured shoulder. And that's a great way of taking Joe out of any potential matches leading up. Take him out of that scenario, bring him back when needed. We also then got Eddie Edwards basically acted on an ultimatum which he gave the system. Either get on board with his vision or you're out, basically. Eddie addressed each member individually. JDC, Brian Myers, Alicia Edwards are in, but it was time for Moose to answer. Cody Deaner crashed the party, and it was the people that needed to let Moose know.
The people chose, and he got his wish.
Yeah, exactly. The people chose, but Moose obviously clobbered Dina with a right hand.
That's what the people were calling for.
Yeah, and the system absolutely beat him down. But that was an interesting segment. I actually quite enjoyed this segment. I thought this was good. Interestingly enough, I remember we spoke about this a couple of weeks back when I was saying that I think Eddie Edwards is going to take.
Yeah, I thought Eddie was going to get knocked out. I thought Moose was just going to shove Cody out the way and still go for Eddie.
Yeah. I think Barry, just so you can say, I think Dina was just he's just there as a way of forwarding the storyline, I guess, a little
Yeah.
bit. I don't think there's no connection there whatsoever. I think he's just
Yeah,
there.
he got
for
in,
the
he got in
storyline.
Eddie's face last week as well about everything between the system.
That's right, he did. So I think that's kind of where that is. I think that's where they're going with that one. It's just a way of forwarding the story. We then got Masha Slamovich, Zaya Brookside, and Li Ying Lee. I find it really hard to say that, don't I?
Yeah.
Lei Ying Lee.
Yes.
Even though I love her,
Yeah.
I find it really hard to say her name. Promised to give Tessa Blanchard and JC Jane and Jasmine. Or was it Jasmine Nix? Is it what they deserve? So you got that one. Santina Morella obviously directed Moose to TNA social media to find out two of his challengers in Ultimate X at Rebellion, and every member of the system will be in action next week. So we found out all of that. NXT's Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson defeated, and this is what we spoke about this last week.
Yeah.
Defeated Spitfire, Dani Luna and Jody Threat. Not a great match in my opinion. However, it did improve as it went on. But like it went from
Yeah, it did start off pretty rocky.
I think it went from a 2 to a 3. And quite frankly, I was not overly impressed, and it didn't help the fact that Spitfire lost, which pissed me right off. But I understand at the end of the day, they need to elevate Lash and Jakara to make them a credible challenger. Unfortunately, they looked absolutely bollocks in this match. I don't know. What did you did you watch this, Craig?
Which one?
Oh, thanks for listening, dude.
Jakara
Sorry,
Jackson.
mate, I was distracted. I got so much going on.
The Lash legend, Jakara Jackson from NXT. Spitfire. I was just saying, I thought it was a shit match.
Nah, it was that attention that I just paid them was how much attention I paid to that match.
It was rubbish. It was a terrible match, wasn't it? Did you? What did you think, Joe?
I wasn't overly impressed with it. I knew who was going to win because NXT talent needed a win at some point, and it was going to come this week. It was going to come that week. So they were the ones who were going to win. The
only things I will say is, mate, bring back JC Jane and Jasmine Nix. My God, those girls can go. Yeah. Like that was top level talent. I would say that they're underappreciated in WWE. But like Lash Legend and that, I reckon it was a 2-for-1 deal. They said if you take JC and her partner, we'll give you this tag team as well. We don't need them. Nah, go on, just take them as well. They're free.
Yeah.
And just just
give them
just give them a match. Yeah. But I know it sounds like a massive diss, but for the hype that they've done, pushing each other around in the ring and stuff like that, to turn up and doing that in the ring, I'm just like, thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, I wasn't impressed. I wasn't impressed at all. But I'm hoping that they get better. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
I hope they get better. And can I just say thank you, Gabriella Valentine, for that comment. That's very nice of you to say. We appreciate it. Barry Monkey saying Spitfire and Metaphor didn't seem to have their...
Yeah, they had no timing, and they just weren't in sync with each other. I think if they square off again, they'll know each other a bit better, and hopefully they'll improve a bit more then. But they just seemed like completely alien to each other.
Yeah, maybe they just, I don't know. I guess they've never been in the ring together before. I don't know. But at the end of the day, like you say, it doesn't, if you're good at what you do, then it shouldn't really matter, should it?
No.
I'm not being funny. You're going in with people like, let's face the facts, right?
2-time Knockouts Tag Team Champions.
2-time Knockouts Champions. Dani Luna is a great talent. Jody Threat is extremely underrated talent. She's awesome. At the end of the day, she was chose to train Trish Stratus to get back into the WWE ring. Why would she choose Jody Threat out of all the talents? She could have gone to Natalia. No, she wanted Jody Threat, right? So you know what I'm saying? That says it all. So she's an amazing talent. I love Jody Threat. I think she's amazing. But anyway, it just was a poor match. It was rubbish. It was the worst. I have to say, it's the worst knockouts match I've seen in a long time. Awful match. I'm calling out a few things today.
It's good.
I'm calling
Yeah.
out.
Good. This is like, you know, you get some shows where it's just like ass kissing the whole time, you know, and it's just like, oh yeah, you know, we need like Gail Kim back in the ring and stuff like that. Grow up and move on. Do you know what I mean? It's like it's about time that people actually said, look, this is what we want. This is the quality that we like, and this is how
Yeah.
you know, us as fans. If anything, like, you know, I would absolutely love to think that there's someone from a show in some kind of, you know, aspect, and they're kind of going, look, these guys are really slamming these talents and that lot. You know, maybe we should change this or do that, because what companies do well when they don't listen to their audience or don't listen to their fans?
Yeah,
Do you
no,
know what
I
I mean?
agree. I agree. Especially, you know, but I mean, well, I guess I'm trying real hard to effectively be as positive as I can because I want this show to be pro TNA. It is
Oh,
it's
it's
pro
100%
TNA.
it's pro
But
TNA,
we
but if we're
have
gonna
to
have Lash
call it out.
Legend and people from an NXT, there's no point.
We've got to call people out. If it's bad, it's bad. Like that was a shite match,
Yeah.
and I'm gutted because I tune into my favorite brand because I love what happens in the ring, and that
Yeah.
made me want to turn off. It was so bad, um, you know. But there you go. You know, not every match is bad. But that was for me. I would have not put that on TV, but I
Yeah.
suppose he didn't really have a choice. I don't know. But Mike Santana thanked Santina Marella for getting his friend a spot on the TNA crew, which was quite nice. Yeah, obviously he's 3 months. What do they call it? 3 months sober or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very interesting angle that.
Yeah, it is. It's hard hitting angle, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the Hardys addressed Nick Nemeth's shocking betrayal at Sacrifice and their upcoming TNA World Tag Team title defense against Nick and Ryan Nemeth at Rebellion. Matt said the scar on his nose is a symbol that he is still broken and he will stop at nothing to delete Nick Nemeth. The Hardys are interrupted by the G. By the Great Hands. By the G.
On
By
the
the
on
Great
the
Hands.
script, guys, it says G, then it goes down to a new paragraph.
By
It
the
does.
G.
Yeah.
Leading to that's terrible. I feel like what's his name? Fucking hell, what was it? Anchorman.
Anchorman.
Yeah, he'll say whatever is on the teleprompter.
Yeah. Go
Anyway,
fuck yourself, San Diego.
go fuck yourself, the Grey Hands. So the Grey Hands lead into an impromptu match where basically if the Grey Hands win, they will be the first in line for the TNA World Tag Title shot. So I loved all the reference to sort of kind of like the broken and broken Matt and all that. I love all of that.
Yeah.
I like the way he's sort of kind of almost what he's doing now is he's morphing his characters together.
Yeah.
So like. And I quite like it because he sort of kind of slips in and out of these characters, which I think is really cool because he's obviously doing it on purpose. That's the way he's setting everything. He's setting it up that way. And I think it's really cool. Now, what we need to start seeing from Jeff, right, is Jeff, right, slipping from current Jeff Hardy, just, the charismatic enigma, currently Jeff Hardy, into, maybe morphing him into like, what's the one that smokes weed?
Itchweed.
Itchweed. Yeah, morphing a little, suddenly go into a bit Itchweed, and then pop out into Will-o'-the-Wisp, and then pop back into the charismatic enigma. That would be great, mate. Can you? I just think it'd be brilliant.
Cool.
And with all the brand spanking new, I think this would be a vignette. By the way, I'm not saying in the ring. I'm talking in a vignette scenario, right, where they almost morph. They literally, like how they morph people together. They morph characters. All of a sudden, he could just suddenly morph into Itchweed and start talking like Itchweed, and then morph back into charismatic, and then morph back into, Will-o'-the-Wisp or something, and then back into the charismatic, and then just do it like that. And do exactly the same with Matt. I think that would be so good. I do. I think it'd be brilliant. Anyway, what do I know? I'm just a fan.
I will. I'll dig it out and I'll send you a clip of when AEW was actually a bit of all right. When it was Santino and Ortiz, I believe, and there was this insane match where they were in a football field and stuff like that, and they got Matt and they were dunking him in some like boot wash sort of thing.
Oh, and then when
but
he came up,
every time they picked him up, he was a different version of himself.
You're kidding. So it's a bit like when he went into the
Lake of Rejuvenation.
Lake of Rejuvenation. Yeah, that's it.
Yes.
And there's
Yeah.
really three Jeff in there, and he comes back out. He's
Oh mate, honestly, I really hope that he comes back as Broken Matt Hardy because he's just hilarious.
He's
Just
brilliant.
the stuff he comes out with and that, like, you know,
I love
Vanguard
I
1
will
and all
eat
that
your
lot.
cat.
There's so much cool shit. Green beans
For everyone.
for everyone. He loved it. Yeah. So anyway, we're getting a bit carried away here, but yeah, it would be great to see some of that stuff again. I love it. Some of that stuff was fantastic. I know that they're running high at the moment on the whole Hardys run at the moment, the classic Hardys run. So we'll see. But anyway, I thought it was good. I enjoyed it. But anyway, so the TNA champions defeated the Great Hands. I thought John Schuyler was really solid in this match, actually.
Yeah.
He's actually really good, mate. I do like him.
He is good.
Both him and Hotch, they are really good. Like, I just wish that, like, you know,
He'd win a bit
I
more.
get that they're sticking together. Yeah, I just think in Great Hands and that, I think it's holding them both back. I think like both of them would have a decent. Like, if you cast your mind back to Schuyler, he was undefeated and he was always winning by some form of cheating for a little while. I think it was during COVID or something, and then he disappeared and he's come back with Hotch. And don't get me wrong, they're great. Like, I love how he comes out and tells everyone to just shut up and he disses everything and stuff like that. They are good.
Classic heel stuff.
Yeah, but I'm just kind of like, I don't feel like we're getting the best out of them just yet.
I agree.
Cool.
I've seen a lot of Jason Hotch's independent matches. He's absolutely insane.
He would be an amazing X Division wrestler.
Yeah, he had a really good match against Rich Swann a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I agree.
They went hell for leather on each other for like 25 minutes, just battering the shit out of each other. Like, it was so good.
Yeah, I agree. Now, Leon Slater then confronted Ryan Nemeth for talking smack about the Hardys. A brawl ensued, but it was broken up by security. TNA then had an injury report. Injury report. Joe Hendry suffered a grade 3 severe sprain. What the fuck is a grade 3 severe sprain? So basically, he's got a bruise on his rotator cuff earlier tonight. His status for Rebellion is now unknown, so they're obviously playing that one up a little bit. He's definitely not really injured, but we'll see.
No, he'll be back in time for Rebellion.
Of course he will. Steph DeLander and Mance Warner claimed that they run TNA. Director of Authority Santino Marella interrupted to make his special announcement. The digital media title is being transformed into the TNA International Championship, and the first champion will be crowned in a tournament culminating at Unbreakable, which will be next Thursday. I might add. Morella took the digital media title away from DeLander, while Sami Callihan attacked Warner with a baseball bat. Callihan then tossed Warner off the stage through a table. This segment was fucking awesome.
Yeah, that was classic Sami. That's what I wanted to see from Sami for ages.
This was classic. This was classic TNA Sami. This was classic stuff. So I was down with that. I was down with all of that. So I'm sure you love this, Craig.
Mate, I was thumbs up and thumbs down in all over the shop. It was absolutely brilliant.
Thumbs down.
It's good. This is what I mean. Like with Mance and that, they both, you know, regardless of their age, regardless of previous storylines and stuff like that, they've both gone like, right, this is TNA. We start afresh and we just push each other. And it's I'm here for it. And we're not even seeing just the edge of it yet. You know, like there was a guy in the crowd who had a T-shirt that said Mance era, and I'm like, if this is Mance era, I'm living through it. You know, I'm all up for it.
Hey,
howdy, Antonio. How are you doing?
Hey, Antonio. Nice to see you, my friend. Thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it as always. Okay, so Mustafa Ali, the Great Hands, and Tasha Steelz targeted the crew worker that was brought in by Mike Santana.
They were mean.
Yeah, they were being a bit mean to him. Yeah, they were. Ash by Elegance may be on vacation, but Heather by Elegance and the personal concierge will mentor TNA newcomer Maggie Lee in the meantime.
Oh, will they?
Will they? Or will they not? I don't know. Could we see another elegant
No.
member being added. I don't think so. I think Maggie Lee's gonna tell him where to go. But
Yeah.
we'll see. We've got Eddie Edwards versus Ace Austin versus Steve Macklin was revealed as the first round match in the TNA International
It's gonna be a
Championship
hell of a
tournament
match.
Yeah.
at Unbreakable. We then find out that Vikingo will return to Ultimate X at Rebellion, which is also great news. Tessa Blanchard, NXT's JC Jane and Jasmine Nix with Fallon Henley apparently defeated Knockouts World Champion Masha Slamovich, Zaya Brookside, and Lei Ying Lee. Right. God, I'm going to get that match right. I'm just going to call her Lee, right? Ying Lee. I'm going to call her Ying Lee, all right? I thought this match was great. So from a shit Knockouts match to a fantastic
Yeah, it's probably match of the night.
Yeah, this was a great match. And again, I thought Masha, Lee, Zaya were fantastic. But again, I still feel like Tessa is almost what's the word I'm looking
A league of her own.
She is. She is literally in a league of her own. She is so fucking good. As a heel, as a professional wrestler, she is got to be one of the best wrestlers in the world, and I don't care.
What was it my mate said? He said, former heavyweight champion, current racist.
Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, yeah. In fact, she marries a Mexican. Her best friend's Moose. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I was just like, but the thing is negative buzz is still buzz, and she's owning it, man.
Yeah,
and you can tell that the company's behind her when they stick her in front and center of a promo of their own.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm so glad she's back, and it's been a long time.
She's
she is so good.
And do you know what I like about what they're doing with her?
Go on.
They have not announced that she's a signed talent yet. She clearly is.
Yeah.
But they've not made a massive deal of it. They've silently.
But I reckon with there's got to be a notable mention of JC Jane. If there's someone who can go toe to toe with our knockouts, if she ever became available, then boom, sign her up. She is absolutely brilliant. Yeah, I thought she was she's got that persona. She's she didn't miss any spots, and it was it Slamovich who done the hesitation suplex?
Yes.
Was it Slamovich? I was just like, oh my god! You don't think that she's got that strength in a woman that stature. Yeah.
Oh, she has.
Insane.
Yeah. She's strong as hell. But there you go. I mean, that match was fantastic. One of my favorite matches of the night by far.
This is the comparison when someone said earlier, SmackDown and Raw and stuff like that, or if you watch that, you get the reference. You've got two women talking on WWE. In ours, you've got them kicking the shit out of each other. It's absolutely brilliant. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? The levels. Difference.
Love it. Now, the second first round match in the TNA International Championship tournament was revealed for Unbreakable as Sami Callihan versus Eric Young versus JDC. Mike Santana was furious over Mustafa Ali's actions earlier that night. We then get another first round match in TNA International Championship tournament, which obviously actually goes down this Thursday, of Zachary Vance versus Mance Warner versus AJ Francis. Now, Sammy was very upset about this, and he threatened Santino Morales to change around the tournament matches so that he could be in the same one as Mance Warner or else. I mean, that was, again, a good moment. I like him when he does this.
Yeah.
But when he's doing this, he's serious.
Yeah, Sam, look at this is my serious face.
It's my serious face. Serious face. And you are going to put me in that match. But yeah, anyway. You get your quarter shot gauntlet winner, Frankie Kazarian, address the impact zone. Kazarian revealed that he is calling his shot for the TNA World title match on April 27th at Rebellion. Kazarian was then interrupted by a surprise NXT's Ethan Page, again former NXT champion, I believe, who crossed the line into TNA for the first time since 2021, when he said he was never going to go back there again. Talked I'll talk to Director of Authority Santino Marella, and he will be challenging Joe Hendry for the TNA World Title at Rebellion. Kazarian was irate and tried to attack Page. Page ducked as Kazarian retreated. First things first, right? We all know I'm not the biggest fan of Ethan Page. I think he's a bit of a twat. However, I was talking to Joe about this earlier off air. The current version of All Ego Ethan Page is the best version that Ethan Page has ever been.
I reckon he was better when he was the understudy to Joseph Parks.
the assistant attorney or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So, but I think he looks absolutely tremendous. I mean, look at the photograph I've put in today's header. He looks ripped. He looks fantastic. And his promo, what we were saying was that I always felt that his promo, everyone was like, oh, he's amazing. He's a great promo guy. And actually, I used to think that he was an overrated promo guy, personally. Yeah. Yes, he was good at yes, he was good at remembering his lines and all the rest of it, and he was good at articulating. But now he is so much better. So much better as a promo guy. Yes, he clearly had he had the stones to be able to do it, and now he's proven how good he actually is can be. So I'm all for this. I'm really pleased to see him there. I like the way when he came out, he was going on about there being people there and stuff. Well, last time I was here, there was nobody, and all that kind of stuff. But Ethan Page certainly wasn't best as the karate. No, he wasn't to be the karate man. Oh man, I like the way he got pissed off at that, the way they presented it. I'm sorry, but the version he did was shite as well. So anyway.
The thing is with him, it's just kind of like you give a wrestler creative control, and it's what they do with it. And he wasn't happy at us, and he went away, and then he went to AEW thinking the grass was going to be greener. SEU split up. He teamed up with Scorpio Sky, ended up being a stooge in the rafters and all that lot, having to deal with Darby Allin, pushing Darby Allin, and just being put on the shelf as everyone else gets, And I'm happy that he's finally gone to WWE and he's proving himself, but with someone like him, I'm sorry, but I don't feel like I'll ever be convinced that he's. I'm going to get done for this, but I don't feel like he's deserved it because of his attitude elsewhere. If this NXT thing, I'll give it a while until it gets stale. I'll give it 6 months before he starts kicking off that he's not on Raw or something. Do you know what I mean? So it's one of those things where when he calls himself All Ego, I think that there isn't just a character thing. I think that's a warning to people who employ him.
It literally is.
Yeah, it's like, by the way, I'm happy now, but that all ego bit, that's going to bite me in the ass at some point.
That's fine, Prince.
Because I'm going to make wild demands in that.
Yeah, no, I get it. I totally get it. But a fair play to him. He looks fantastic. Like I say, his promo work, I think, is improved loads. So we'll just have to... we'll see where it goes. I mean, I watched the match. So his recent matches he's had. No.
I reckon if he does, either Joe Hendry pins him, or Ethan Page is knocked out the ring, and Joe Hendry pins Kazarian, and then Ethan Page gets another match down the line.
The person that's taking the pin is 100% Frankie Kazarian.
Yeah,
he's in that match to take the pin. Whoever he takes it from, because at the end of the day, even if Ethan does pin him, Frankie wins the title, that then leaves it open because Joe Hendry can say, well, yeah, all right, you won the title, but you didn't pin me.
Yeah.
And then that's when you get the rematch, and who knows, Joe will probably win it back. That type of thing. Or we might get a couple of months and it go to Against All Odds or something like that. And you know what I mean? Somewhere like that, and then he wins it back again, and then we're back to Slammiversary. But that's what I think anyway. But guys, let's take a look at this Thursday's Impact Wrestling. This is what we've got billed. There's quite a lot match-wise, and this is what I'm talking about. This is why I want to watch TNA and not Raw and SmackDown. Steve Macklin versus Eddie Edwards.
Yes.
Wow.
So good to see these guys square off again.
That's going to be an incredible match. We've got the Rascals versus JDC and Brian Mars from the System. Pardon me. You're going to see there's a bit of a thing going on here with regards to the System. There's
That
a lot
sounds, did say.
Yeah.
So we've got Moose versus Cody Deaner.
That's going to be a good one.
Poor Cody.
No, I think Cody's going to get a battering. We're then going to get Leon Slater versus Ryan Nemeth. So bearing in mind, that's 1, 2, 3. There's 4 matches now in a 2-hour show.
Yeah, there's
we're
a
then
couple
going
short
to get
matches there.
Yeah, there probably is, but we're getting in-ring action. That's all I care about.
There's still going to be big talking points.
Mustafa Ali versus Ace Austin. That's not going to be a short match. And then to top it all off, I'm assuming this is going to be the main event. We're going to get Mance Warner versus Sami Callihan. This will either be the main event or it'll kick the show off.
Yeah.
Mance Warner versus Sami Callihan versus AJ Francis in the TNA International Championship Tournament. Wow.
Yeah.
That's a show.
That's a damn good show.
That is a show. And of course, that then is leading us into Unbreakable, which is live next Thursday. All right. So, what a show, mate. That again, yes, I did notice that, Barry. There is no female matches on this show. There's no knockouts. Not yet. But we could get something. I don't know. I mean, like you said, we've just said we think there's a couple of shorter matches in there. If there is, then who knows? We may end up with something going on, or maybe we get backstage segments with the knockouts. You know, I don't know. I think there could be a few things going on with the knockouts that are not match based. As we know, they like to do a lot of story forwarding backstage. So we might get some vignettes. I'm pretty certain we'll get some Rosemary thing again, trying to do something with Zaya, building that up there. There's something brewing there between Rosemary and Zaya.
Oh yes, angels and demons.
Angels and demons. We were talking about that the other day. So there's definitely something brewing there. So there's a lot going on. There's certainly a lot going on at the moment. What's that there? What's the last comment?
Oh, I don't know. I've blocked them. It's just a spam comment from what.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Bloody spam. I hate spams. Good lord. Anyway, so looking pretty good. And I'm sure we'll get some KO stuff going on. We would get some knockout stuff going on. So don't be too disheartened. We're definitely going to get some tits and ass. I'm sure.
Hashtag left tits up.
Left tits. I had to get that in there. Tits and ass. But anyway, guys, I think that's pretty much all we got time for this week. It's been a really good show. I'm really excited. But if you want to show your support for TNI UK team, please feel free to super sticker us or head over to the ProWrestlingTees.com/Total Nonstop Impact for some great t-shirts, or head over to our exclusive Spreadshirt merch store. Links, of course, are below, as always. All TNI shows are also available to all you listen on the Go fans audio only via SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, wherever you listen to your favorite shows. I know a few of you like to listen to us, when you're on your runs. When you're on your runs, that sounds like you've got the shits, doesn't it? No, I mean when you're when you're out jogging, your fitness runs. I know a lot of people listen to our show when they're on the run.
Fitness shits.
Yeah, all the fitness stuff.
Yeah, but that sounds right. Your fitness shit. So
fitness shit. Yeah. Fitness run.
Yeah, sounds cool. That sounds fine. Not like
where can we find you on the social media, Joe? Come on, son.
Oh god. You can find me on I forgot how that bloody goes now. Yeah, find me on Twitter at JKEmptySpace, or you can look for hashtag empty space, hashtag into the void, or if you fancy to take your taste buds and you send to me hashtag Daily Giggle on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter. But approach with a little mind, and you just might keep your sanity.
Sanity. And where can we find you, brother Limpster?
Online. Just basically LimpstarUK on TikTok, on Instagram. I think it's LimpstarUK on Facebook now. I'm about. Just put in Limpstar and I'll pop up somewhere. I'm trying to really push my SoundCloud at the minute and upload some new mixes, but I'm slacking. But there's 4 on there already, so if you fancy melting your ears and making your face turn a funny shape, then go and
Melt
listen
my
to my
face off.
stuff.
Yeah. Melt
Yeah, that's
my
it.
face off.
Literally.
Lovely. If you want to follow TNI on the socials, just check in at We Talk Impact and you will find us wherever you may, everywhere, basically. Just put in at We Talk Impact and you'll find us. If you're looking for me, at Lord Bison 45 is where you'll find me on the X. And if you're interested in following me on the TikTok, you will find me at Bison by Design. I was talking to Joe a little bit last week. I am currently in the process of actually setting up my own bona fide clothing brand of gym wear. So I will be promoting that a little bit fairly soon. I'm going on holiday. Once I get back off holiday in May, I will be going full hell pelt on that and getting that going. I was showing Joe some of the designs. They're pretty cool, Joe, aren't they?
I thought they were amazing.
There's some really cool stuff
Nice.
coming up. So keep your eye out for that. Now, guys, listen, please take the time to help us out moving up the rankings on YouTube by giving us a thumbs up. And if you're new to us and you like what you see, then please consider hitting that subscribe button. And don't forget to give the bell a tickle, a squeeze, of course, a smash to never miss any of the awesome content TNA related coming out each and every week from the US and, of course, the UK teams each and every week. With all that said, I've been Bison and they have been the Joker and, of course, the LimpstarUK. And this has been episode 225 of Impacted. Take care.
Take care, guys.